Today we're going to be talking a little bit about feminist family theory. I'm Nicole. My partner Sonia and I put this PowerPoint together. First, a little bit of history. Feminism in the United States began with the Seneca Falls Convention in 1848, when women began fighting for the right to vote. This battle was not won until the ratification of the 19th Amendment in 1920. The second wave of feminism began in the 1960s. They focused on the resolution of issues such as equal pay and job training for women, reproductive choice, maternity leave, subsidized child care, and an end to sex discrimination. The branches of the 1960s and 1970s feminism included liberal feminism, which focused on challenging laws and customs that limit women's ability to achieve significant roles in society, Marxist feminism, which focused on exploitation of women in their reproductive roles and household labor. Women are second-class citizens. Radical feminism. Individuals should strive for androgyny, which is a mixture of masculine and feminine traits. Families are patriarchal and should be avoided. Social feminism strove to liberate women from the combined aspects of class oppression and patriarchy, particularly as found in families. Cultural feminism focuses on bringing respect and value to traditionally feminine and undervalued traits. I love this little picture. Feminism. It's easy. You're a feminist if you believe in equality for men and women. Basic assumptions. Women's experiences are central to our understanding of families. Gender is a socially constructed concept. Social and historical contexts are important. There are many forms of families. Emphasis is placed on social change. There is no objective, unbiased observation of humans. This is one of the most important assumptions in feminism. Primary terms and concepts. Sex. Biological assignment as genetically defined at birth. You're either born male or female. Gender. The social meanings and behaviors ascribed to one's sex, based on culture, not genetic predisposition. So boys wear blue and girls wear pink. Categorization. Process of applying labels to behaviors based on one's sex. Certain behaviors, roles, words, and symbols are male, whereas others are female. So boys are aggressive and girls like to do ballet. Stratification refers to the application of value to different categories. Assigning social value to categories ranks those categories within the social context. So being nice in a classroom is going to be a very positive trait in a young girl. But when that woman grows up, goes to college, joins the Fortune 500 company, and wants a position as a vice president, that niceness is not going to be valued the same way as aggressive skills would be. Privilege refers to the social status given to one with more power and value in society. Feminists must ask who has the power and who does not, so that all voices might be heard. Social deconstruction. The first step in the analysis of how views of reality are constructed by social interactions, particularly in light of how gendered meanings are developed. Social discourses brings the analysis of social deconstruction into the conversation of gender expectations and behaviors. Social discourse raises awareness of the analysis into the work of social scientists by examining the ways in which we invite people to participate in the dialogue of deconstruction. This ensures that those who do not have privilege are included in the conversation. Praxis, the step after analysis, in which beliefs and values are put into action, is praxis. For feminist family scholars, this includes advocacy for women, inclusiveness in language and behavior, and reflecting on one's own behavior with intention. So if you look to the right, you can see a little diagram. We start with social deconstruction, which is where we analyze these interactions, especially the gendered meanings. Next, we move on to the discourse, which is that social conversation where we make sure, or try to make sure, that privileged and underprivileged voices are heard as we try to sift through these problems. Last, praxis. After the analysis, we need to put those values and beliefs into action to facilitate real change. Black feminism. It's important for us to recognize that gender is only one of the variables that can result in oppression. Others include race and class. It's impossible for us to tease out or separate the different variables that lead to oppression. So we need to make sure we study how all of these factors intersect. Some critiques. Feminism has been criticized for being oppressive to men by focusing only on issues that affect women, working outside the parameters and paradigms of the traditional scientific base of knowledge. We talked a little bit about this with assumptions. One important point of feminism is that it is based on the idea that all of us are biased and none of us can look objectively at a situation, so we need to try and look at things taking that into consideration. Next, feminism has been criticized for their activist position. Feminists would argue that once you identify inequality, you are socially and morally obligated to make a change. So you can't be a feminist without being an activist. Next, feminism is criticized for working against traditional nuclear families. We especially see this with the New Age or Third Age feminism, which can also be often be really critical of women who, are focused on traditional family values, want to stay at home, those kinds of things. Lastly, and this plays into when we talked about Black feminism, traditional feminism pays too much attention to the oppression of one group, women, at the exclusion of other forms of oppression such as race, ethnicity, age, disability, and religion. So we have a really great video we'd like to share with you about understanding privilege. This just gives a really great breakdown for those of us who, maybe grew up more privileged than others. One thing I really love, I read somewhere, is that you can't understand privilege unless you're underprivileged. So I think this video does a really great job of illustrating that for us.
Hey, line up! Line up! Everybody line up! We're about to race. Everybody line up. Shoulder to shoulder. Take off your back. Basketball, line up. We're about to race. Hey, we are racing for $100 bill. The winner of this race will take this. The $100 bill. Before I say go, I'm going to make a couple statements. If those statements apply to you, I want you to take 2 steps forward. If those statements don't apply to you, I want you to stay right where you're at. Take 2 steps forward if both of your parents are still married. Take 2 steps forward if you grew up with a father figure in the home. Take 2 steps forward if you had access to a private education. Take 2 steps forward if you had access to a free tutor growing up. Take 2 steps forward if you never had to worry about your cell phone being shut off. Take 2 steps forward if you never had to help mom or dad with the bills. Take 2 steps forward if it wasn't because of your athletic ability, you don't have to pay for college. Take 2 steps forward if you never wondered where your next meal was going to come from. I want you guys up here in the front just to turn around and look. Every statement I've made has nothing to do with anything any of you have done. Has nothing to do with decisions you've made. Everything I've said has nothing to do with what you've done. We all know these people up here have a better opportunity to win this $100. Does that mean these people back here can't race? No. We would be foolish to not realize we've been given more opportunity. We don't want to recognize that we've been given a head start. But the reality...
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. I hope this video helped you understand feminism just a little bit better.